Hey, friend. Today, I want to talk about how yoga can help you to develop your third party observer skills and let you be better at setting boundaries. So, there's a lot that's packed into that one statement. So, let me take a second to just kind of back up. Third party observer, we'll talk about what that means. Then, we'll talk about why that's important in setting boundaries and how yoga can help with that. And then I will do a little bit less teaching, explaining, at least in terms of the kind of intellectual side of it. And I'll walk you through a body scanning pose that will help us develop this ability. Body scanning is something we do regularly in yoga practices. So I'll give you a little bit of a flavor for what would happen in a longer class. Okay, so third party observer. What we mean by that is, so imagine you're in a situation and all of a sudden you start to feel your heat rising. You are feeling stressed. You are feeling overwhelmed. You're feeling anxious. You kind of start to notice that it's a little harder to breathe deeply. In a situation like that, which happens for all of us all the time, what tends to happen is we react rather than reflect and be more thoughtful in how we respond. So I think react versus respond, if you can see kind of the nuance there between the two. So when you are stressed and you react, you are in that moment basing your actions on how you are feeling and the emotions that you're experiencing. And that's not to say that the emotions you're experiencing are in any way bad or good or otherwise. They are the emotions you are experiencing. So when we can become a third party observer, so in that situation, when we can kind of step back and observe ourselves, look at what's going on in our bodies, in the situation, in our minds, we can better respond in the way that we want to. So it's not simply based on the emotions that we're feeling. We allow our brain to integrate with the more logical side and combine the two to produce the response that we desire. So it becomes a little bit more of a thoughtful approach. And in doing that, we can also downregulate our amygdala, that fight or flight response, and be a little bit more calm and better positioned to make the choices that we want to make in a very stressful situation. So why is that important in setting boundaries? Well, a lot of times when we find ourselves in a position where we need to set a boundary, maybe somebody is trying to take too much of our time or too much of our energy, or maybe it's not that somebody else is trying to take it. Maybe we just personally feel compelled to give more and be able to help other people, which is not bad, but sometimes you've got to take care of yourself before you can give to other people. And so sometimes in those situations, what happens is we can be kind of run by those feelings of whether it's guilt or some type of internal or external pressure to guide our decision making. So when you can take a step back and become that third party observer, you can allow the rational, logical side of the brain to come into the mix and say, is this aligned with my family's priorities and values? And do I have the time to do this? Can I make the time to do this without sacrificing my family's priorities and values? And then you can choose how to respond in the situation instead of following the, like I said, potentially feelings of guilt or pressure or feeling compelled to do something that may or may not be the decision that down the road you wish you had taken. So that's how it helps with setting boundaries. And then my last point before we do the body scanning exercise is how yoga can help with all of this. And I think the body scanning exercise will be proof enough of that, but just real quick, what yoga does is in every time that we practice, we try to listen to what's going on in our bodies. We try to pay attention to our internal and external surroundings. notice what's going on. We're very interested in, I like to remind people to pay attention to those kinds of things, to observe what is happening to you, within you. And you can use that as a tool. So it allows you kind of a safe space within the yoga practice in a non-stressful situation to practice your ability to step back and notice what's going on with yourself, so that it becomes something that's a little bit more second nature. Then when you're in a stressful situation, you can rely on that skill to help you through it, to help you move from reacting to responding. So let's take just a couple of minutes to do a body scanning exercise. If you could, wherever you are, as long as you're not driving, if you could just stop for a couple of minutes, find yourself in a comfortable seated position. I'm going to change my position so that I can be a little bit more comfortable. But whatever that is for you, find a seated spot. It could be in a chair even. And I'd invite you to turn your palms up, just the openness that symbolizes. And settle in, closing your eyes down. Take a few deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Few more deep breaths. Settle into your space. And start to tap into your senses. What you hear, what you feel. Then start from head down and move down to toe. Scan your body, noticing again what you feel. Are you furrowing your brow, clenching your jaw? Are your shoulders creeping up towards your ears? As you breathe deeply, work to release any of that tension that may be there. Passing no judgment. If there is tension that exists, just noticing it. Deep breaths to release it. Noticing your belly expand each time you breathe in and contract each time you breathe out. That's the basic idea. So really quick practice. You can do that anywhere, anytime. You can even notice it when you are driving on the road, but just keep your eyes open. So that is what I have for you today about how yoga can help you develop your third-party observer capabilities and thus help you be better at setting boundaries. So I would love to hear from you. Let me know what you think. Let me know if this is helpful. And if you're looking for more, definitely reach out, because we do this kind of thing a lot in each time we practice yoga together. I'll talk to you soon.